morning and welcome back. Alright, in today's video I want to show us how we can cut a shirt. Now you fold your fabric in this form, and then I'm folding out 2 inches or 2.5 that will serve me for the button allowance. Now these 2 inches will be later be folded back to 1.1 1.2 inches. Now you make sure that you fold all through that length, and the length you're folding must be the length of your customer's shirt length, right? So you place that way, and then you iron. You make sure you apply your shirt length to know where you have, and then you iron it down. Right, so now I've ironed it out. Now in as much as if you want to use charcoal iron or your electric iron, there's no problem. Make sure you iron flatly that way. Now 2 inches that way, and then you make sure you check your shirt length. So the shirt length I have here is a shirt length of 27-28 shirt length is what I have. So you mark at 27 inches and then add extra 2 inches, right? And then repeat the same thing inwards this way. The reason of doing this is to make sure that everything is arranged properly. Then you connect the lines in this form as shown. Connect in this form as shown, and then after you must have done this, this will now be your working range. And then you place your tape at the edge of the fabric. So the chest I have is chest of 38, so you place it at the folded edge of the 2 inches and mark 9.5 for your chest, then extra 2 inches, right? Then the reason you're doing this is to make sure that your chest is properly entering properly. Then mark the same thing at the side, and then connect the lines in this form. Then connect the lines in this form. Then once you have connected the lines in this form, this is your working range. And then you slope the shoulder by 3 inches this way. Slope it all through that way. Slope it 3 inches that way. And then you mark in this form, and then you start to apply your shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I have is a shoulder of 17 by 2, 8.5 plus half an inch to join the sleeve becomes 9. You mark your shoulder in that form, and then you apply your armhole measurement of 9 inches. I reduce half inch, then use 9 for the armhole, and then from there you get the midpoint, which happens to be 3 inches midpoint. And then you measure the total distance from there, which happens to be 3 inches. So you add extra half inch there, mark 3.5 at that point, right? And then you connect in this form this way. You can use your freehand sketch, you can use your pattern master. You connect in this form that way. Then once you have done doing that, then you apply your neck measurement. So the neck I have is a neckline of 16.5. So divide by 6, you have 2.6666. Then you mark 2.6 at that point, and then add half inch to it, and then you mark at 3.1, 3.2, right? That's for the neck depth and the neck width. Then you use your freehand sketch, and then you connect. You can still make use of your pattern master to draw the lines. Then once you are done drawing the lines, you now cut them out in this form, and then make sure the folded inch is already folded already, and then cut it out. Then notch the midpoint that way, and then you cut out the shoulder area from there, and then cut the armhole points from here as well. Cut all through this way, and then you cut all through that way, then cut all through this way, then you cut from there as well this way. And this is how you cut your shirts. Then notch the down part as well to know where the 2 inches folding will start from. Then after doing this, now let's now cut the back. Alright, so now we are trying to cut the back of the shirt, Now remember that what we marked was 29 inches. The shirt length was 27, add extra 2, 29. Then you mark at 29 plus extra 2 again, that's 31 for the back raising, right? The back will be longer by 2 inches, so you mark at 31 for the back panel, and then you repeat the same armhole and the same everything you did here, and then you mark as well. That's the chest dimension now plus extra 2 inches. That's what I'm marking. The chest plus extra 2 inches is what I'm marking. Then connect the lines as shown in this form. It goes straight up from there all through down, and then you draw the line as well that shows the shirt length in that form. After which you have done that, the next you will do is to derive your armhole, which we use 9 at the front, so the back, right? So now we are reducing 8 inches from the actual length of the shirt. That will serve us for the back facing. Now this type of shirt, we have a jointed double back facing, right? So you will see how it's gonna come out. So you mark 8 inches for the actual back facing, and which is the recommended measurement. You can do yours 9 or 10, depends on your customer size. So you cut out from there for the back facing, right? 8 inches is what I used, and the chest line I had, a chest line of 38 is what I have. So you mark from there all through that way. This is the half of the back panel. Then notch the midpoint at that point, notch the midpoint, and then after which you fold. Then let's now cut out the 2 back facings. So you fold again in this form, and then trying to get the dimension that will serve us for the double back facings, right? Now remember that we removed 8 inches, so you also measure 8 inches plus extra ½ inch of joining. Extra ½ inch of joining, that's 8.5. Then you fold in that form. It will be on 4 folds, that's 4 layers, right? Then you fold in that form, and then we are going to make use of the front panel in drafting the back facing. So you pick out your front panel of your shirt, then pick it up that way, and then place it in this form at that edge from there. So we are trying to make use of the front panel to draft out the 2 back facings, right? So you have it in that form, and then you mark 1 inch from there, 1.5 inch down for the neck depth of the back facing, right? And then the neck width will be ½ inch inwards from there. That's you mark it ½ inch inwards, and then you mark ½ inch again from here, right? So this is the only thing you need to do. Then after which you connect as shown. After the connection in that form, now you now cut out the neck from that point, cut your neck from that point, and then after you have cut the neck, you also place it back and then slant it out from there, and then the back armhole will be ½ inch bigger in this direction, but then you cut it in this block form, and later on you will now join, you will now cut it out exact. So you saw how the back armhole was drafted. It wasn't curvy, it was a bit slanted or sloped. So you also notch the 2 back facings, also notch the neckline that way, and then later on the armhole will be trimmed, right? Don't worry about that. It will be joined, and then later on it will be trimmed. Then after you must have done this way, this is how the back neck will be. You can see how it's coming out, right? This is how the back facing will be, and they try to synchronize the back facing with the front neckline in that form. So try to synchronize it that way. So once you have done doing that, so you make sure everything is properly arranged. The armhole will be taken care of later on when you are trying to sew. So after that, then you start cutting the other components. So I'll end the video now and then show us how to cut the sleeves, the plackets, and the other parts of the components of the shirts.